customers weren't paying attention.
Oh my God.
He should have been watched every minute.
Oh God.
You see, he was my son. His name was Jason. And today is his birthday.
What's going on, YouTube? We back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Adams' YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we back with another movie review. Today we're gonna go a little, I don't even know if you could say retro, being that this came out in 2009, but I guess throwback. And we're doing Friday the 13th remake that came out in 2019. This was kind of like a little era where we was doing a bunch of horror remakes, in particular like signature horror icons. We talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface, which was one of my favorites at the time, the one with Jessica Biel that came out, I think in 2003. I think this one came next. I don't think one was before that, and then after this one, I think it was the Nightmare Nightmare on Elm Street, which I think is the worst of everything as far as what they was doing with these remakes or whatever. We never got around to like a Michael had his own thing going on at the time. You had Rob Zombie coming in doing what he doing, and that first one is I mean, the whole origin story shit and all of that, yeah. Anyway, though, when you are talking about Jason, though, and what they had set up for this, even with the teaser trailers for this, I was hyped for this. I was definitely hyped for this, but it was the whole thing with coming off of what they did with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then you had the same director as far as the 2003 remake of that. The thing they really let us know ahead of time was that Jason would not be walking in this movie. Not only would Jason not be walking, but Jason is going to be very strategic in this movie. Like 2009's Jason Voorhees, the nigga is Rambo. Bro setting up traps, he shooting boy and arrows, and I remember the throwback on Friday the 13th where he would throw some shit sometimes that'll hit you, but I never remember him setting up traps. I could be wrong, y'all ever remember if he used to set up booby traps here and there? I know he had some very creative kills, but it was just the route that this one took. The other one seemed like he was very upset with his mother. The one in this one wants revenge. He don't care who it is, he just wants revenge. Jason in the 80s was more so like, man, I'm sad, I'm depressed, and y'all keep coming around, and I'm really trying to relax and be to myself, but y'all keep showing up. This nigga in this one, no, there ain't none of that, bro. It's like, I'm glad y'all showing up. I want to put this work in on y'all. And he is very, very aggressive. Another thing they made sure to let you know, and like I said first, is that he's running. They put emphasis on the fact that he's running, and it does kind of make the film more tense. But I feel like more than anything that it's this opening scene for this movie. This opening scene established just what type of Jason that we are getting this time around, and that's one thing that really, for me, helped, because it was like, damn, I ain't never seen a Jason like this. Jason always kept it real smooth. He walking. Now, don't get it twisted. When he kill you, it looked like it hurt. Like, Jason didn't just kill you. He'd do some shit that was just like kind of petty. You remember that one Friday the 13th where old buddy was walking on his hands upside down and Jason took the machete, sliced that nigga through his top leg? Like, come on, through his groin. Like, come on, man. The other one where old buddy was going in the kitchen to get something, he stabbed him in the hand first and then stabbed him in the forehead. Long story short, I think he choked somebody out with a belt. He put the shit around his eyes first, and Jason ain't that nigga that you want to die by. That's all I'm saying. Like, with, Friday the 13th, with a Nightmare on Elm Street, when it comes to somebody like Freddy, dreams are dreams. It is what it is. Even somebody, I would say like Chucky. Chucky probably just trying to get you up out of here because you in his way of trying to transfer his soul into whoever he trying to do outside of Andy. Even, I would say outside of, I would rather go by Jason than Leatherface, though, because Leatherface got some other plans for you. That 2003 year. But it definitely established just how aggressive and just how different this one is going to be. once again, I don't remember him setting up booby traps and shit. I don't remember him shooting bow and arrows like he was Rambo. But they definitely established just what type of Jason we are getting this time around in this 2009 version of Friday the 13th. Character-wise, though, that was probably the thing. But I think this was done intentionally because any Friday the 13th movie you ever got, it always made sure that you got a bunch of stupid characters leading up into that final girl. That's one thing they tried to do differently with here. I feel like, especially with the whole final girl act, we kind of almost get set up, or they kind of try to throw us off. And I'm gonna tell you something right now, man. This opening scene, bro, old buddy sister, my boy off Supernatural, Sam's sister. It's like, how do we do a fake out with that? At the opening scene where he knocking off everybody and then old girl is on the ground and she backing up and he run up on her with the machete and he coming down. How you fake that out? What did he do? Just stop instantly? I don't see how he was capable. But how did y'all set that up? It's one thing to try to fake us out and give us another, I guess, final girl. And I'm guessing that they was trying to do because that was something different outside of what Jason normally do. He don't kidnap people. He killing your ass. He ain't kidnapping nobody. But that's another thing that he ends up doing different is actually taking a hostage. But I guess on some levels you might kind of enjoy that because they kind of reworking the rules as far as, you know, the traditional horror rules. In this movie, you got a bunch of people in your traditional teens having sex, doing drugs, all the things, and you got this one particular girl, she not drinking, she ain't doing no drugs, and she seems like a very decent person outside of everybody else that's around her as far as her friends. But the way they kind of set it up, it does seem like she will be that final girl, because we never really get final dudes outside of, you know, who we got with Tommy, you know, in Friday the 13th 3D. But he was a little boy. But even with him going into the sequel, and you know, they basically did they screen version of Friday the 13th when Jason wasn't even a part of that. They had somebody put in a mask who was getting revenge for his son being killed. But anyway, it's the fake outs in this one. I ain't gonna front, like, it was decent. It's just the fact that I didn't care about these characters. So when you faked out somebody who potentially was supposed to die but didn't die, and then you kill somebody who had somewhat of a build-up and they actually died, I mean, I was like, oh, damn. I was a little surprised, but I didn't care. Because it is a girl in here who is helping the brother, because the brother who is looking for a sister as far as Sam, I ain't remember these niggas' names, man. I'm not going through all that. They did not have enough. They didn't give me enough to make me remember their names. They are here for Jason to slaughter, and we was here to watch Jason do what he do as far as in the 2009 version outside of the 80s, or even outside of what they did with Freddy versus Jason, which was the more recent one until they did this one. But yeah, man. Even Sam, as far as looking for a sister, I didn't care. I'm sorry, I didn't care about your sister. I didn't care if you looked for, if you found her, if you didn't. I didn't care. For whatever writing they had going on, which I'm gonna keep saying, I feel like it might have been intentional, because with most Friday the 13th movies, you never really get established characters. You just got a bunch of teens doing what they doing, having a bunch of sex, doing a bunch of drugs, and getting knocked off by Jason. I don't remember a couple times I don't watch Friday the 13th movies, and I done got the final girls confused. I'm like, ain't she the chick? But then I don't know, because none of the characters I feel like get enough establishment or enough character development or build up for you to care, or they too stupid, or they too goofy, or the way they even set up. It's like, why? I don't care. But I think that's the way the Friday the 13th movies were supposed to be established, and I think that's what he was trying to do with this remake, as far as taking us back to those times where it was just teens to slaughter. It's basically a grindhouse, basically a slaughterhouse. But the fake outs, once again, like I said, they did kind of work, because you think you're gonna get this one girl that lived and she didn't, and then you had the whole thing with the sister actually being alive. The kills, though, I honestly feel like, I think he was more creative in the 80s. Straight up, these kills, what he was doing, and I think I was more thrown off by the fact of how not dedicated, but just the way he set up certain kills. Once again, it was the fact that he was setting up traps, and I don't remember him doing that in the 80s, or the original Jason doing it. give or take, him throwing shit and hitting your ass, that's one thing. The way he did the black dude, I mean, of course. And even with them doing that, as far as having all the the white kids or whatever, then they having that one black dude. Of course, we did that in the 80s with these horror movies, especially the Friday the 13th movies. You always caught you one or two good black dudes in there that was gonna get knocked off. Outside of the one kid that they let live, as far as the black kid, but he was a real, what I'm saying, he was out of there. Every time he seen Jason, he didn't try to help nobody. He was just gone. I'm just saying. But that's one thing, like I said, I feel like they pretty much tried to set up. It's just the whole thing with not getting characters that you cared about, and I feel like they did that intentionally, and that's the separation from the 2003 version that we got with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. One thing about it, Jessica Biel character, she pissed me off because of the way she was going about trying to do shit, and they was just trying to get up out of there. At the same time, I still feel like they gave us somewhat of characters that we still kind of didn't want to see die. You know what I'm saying? But in this one, like I said, it was just meat for the slaughter. Like, Jason was just here to kill. Man, ain't no way we were following these characters. I remember the scene with the boat, and that's the one he's shooting the bow and arrow, and you got old girl trying to hide up under the thing, and he walk up and he hit her in the head with the machete. And that's what I mean as far as kills. Some area I feel I'm kind of creative with him putting the girl, but that's kind of pay homage to the original Fridays when he put the girl in the sleeping sack or whatever at the beginning, but instead of him slamming her against the tree, he put a fire under her ass and pretty much torturing her or whatever. Even when him setting a bear trap with old buddy in his leg. But once we kind of get into the middle of the film or whatever, he kind of back to his tradition or whatever. Once again, getting characters that you don't care about, we good until we get to like our final three, and then they kind of do that little surprise kill with old girl. Outside of that though, like I said, I just feel like they kind of tried to keep it maintaining as far as the original, especially with the characters and just Jason himself, and then trying to do something different as far as him running, setting these traps, and even with somewhat the kills that he was making or whatever, and even with the characters that you thought might have lived but they ended up dying or whatever. The only thing I would say that he kept grounded was the fact that I just didn't care about none of them. I didn't care about nobody but except Jason himself as far as the way he was going to do what he was going to do. The biggest problem I have with this movie is the fact that I feel like they didn't live up to that opening. I feel like that's the biggest issue. We never got the tension or the kills or the build up the way we got with that opening scene, the way he was just on it. He was on it. I feel like we never got that again. Outside of that, once again, just Jason himself. The aggressiveness and the fact that he seemed like he was on some, like, he was think before he do what he do. And not saying that Jason didn't never take the time to think out or plan out what he was going to do. It was just the way he was moving though, and the way he kind of was telepathic. No, teleport, my bad, not telepathic, but the way he kind of teleport. And he do this in here as far as this movie too, but it's just the way he kind of doing things as far as the woods, being the fact that he out here in the woods all the time. He grew up in these woods, so he would know them more than any of these new people that's coming out here, or these teenagers or whatever that just coming out here to do what they do or whatever. Another thing they kind of separate from the original is that this is not a camp. This camp is closed off. Ain't nobody coming out here setting up summer camps or none of that. That's another thing. But upside of that, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this remake and what they tried to do with this. And yes, I'm going to be doing some more reviews before the summer over because I'm kind of trying to do a little summer horror movie reviews. And this is one of my first ones. I'm going to probably go back and try to do the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. And I'll probably do a little shark movie. But outside of that, y'all let me know if y'all are fans of the original Friday the 13th, how y'all feel about this remake. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell. Other than that, we out.